So, hello and welcome back, students. Welcome back to Fun Scholar Academy. Today, we are here again with a new chapter, that is rocks and minerals. So, you all the must have heard the term rocks and minerals. Minerals you have learned already that in your chapter food we eat, or in carbohydrate, protein, fats, vitamins and minerals. So the minerals, they come from rocks, right? So what are these rocks? See, I have a piece of rock with me. Can you just see? You have seen many types of rocks in your surrounding areas. Okay? Rocks, like you have seen bigger mountains like this. You have seen like this small pebbles, then stones. So they are of various types of rocks. Okay? So in this rocks contains what? This rocks contains minerals. Which, how do we get these minerals? We do get these minerals from the food we eat. And how do that minerals comes to the food that we eat? Obviously the plants. Suppose this is a plant. It has a deep root system. So what is the function of root? The function of root is to absorb water and transport it to the leaves. So while taking the water from the soils are also being formed from this rock. Just see, I have a packet of soil or sand. These are also being formed from the rocks. If you continuously take and break one rock with hammer and keep hammering it, after some time you will find tiny particles of sand. Okay, so we can say that the sands are being formed from where? Rocks, and the rocks contains mineral. So soil has, we already know, minerals plus water. So while the plant take in water, the minerals also go with along with the water, are being absorbed by the plant. And when they store their food in the form of starch, these minerals are also being stored along with the food. And when we eat those food, that minerals come to us. Again, minerals can be of plant origin, animal origin. In animal, the best thing for calcium, for iodine, what we eat, we take salt that is already formed from rock only. So that is how this cycle of rock to mineral, mineral to rock occurs. Okay. So in this chapter, we will learn about different types of rock, how they are formed, how soil is formed, how from rock to soil, soil to rock, how minerals are formed in the rocks, what kinds of minerals are found in the rocks, and what is the utilization of different kinds of rocks in our daily life, and obviously again the minerals. So let us begin with this chapter. Okay, that was a small introductory part, just I have given you. Now let's proceed. So first thing is, what are rocks? See, this is obviously a stone. This is another stone. So rocks are something like this only, na? Okay. You have seen rocky mountains. Okay. Full. These are rocky mountains. Okay. This big stone, then small stone. Just now I have shown you a small stone. So all these comes under rocks. Okay. Now let's read. Many of the materials that we use in every day are made from different kinds of rock. How? What? We will come to know in the later part. Each kind of rock in turn is composed of different types of mineral. This thing I have just explained, and you know by now that rocks are formed of what? Nothing but minerals. Rocks contains minerals. Right? Okay. Now next. Types of rock. On the basis of after analyzing the rock's basic structure and physical and chemical component, rocks are basically divided into only three types. Only three types of rock are found in our Earth's crust. What is crust? Obviously, these are the land masses. Okay, even rocks are found in the if okay, let me draw this again. Suppose this is our earth and this is the land masses. Okay, so this is the land mass and this is the water portion. Okay, this is the water portion. Okay, this is the landform, this is the water bodies. So, these rocks are found both in the land and under water. So, we can say that throughout our earth, everywhere, even we go deep under the sea, river, lake, pond, even in the land masses, everywhere we find rock. Okay? In the land masses, there are mountains, plateaus, deltas, then plain area, everything has rocks. Even underwater, there are mountains, there are caves, everything are formed of rocks. Understood? I hope you have. So, if we see that among all these type of rocks, only three basic types of rocks are found in this earth. So, our earth is made up of only three types of rocks. What are they? First is igneous, second is sedimentary, and third is metamorphic. Understood? First is igneous, second is sedimentary, and third is metamorphic. So, we will learn about these three types of rock in our upcoming slides. So, let's begin. First is igneous rock. First, look at this picture. What do you think this is? This is nothing but what? A volcano. A volcano. Right? And you know what is volcano? Volcanoes are something when a mountain bursts out, a liquid, hot and very high temperature materials come down along with this heat. Okay, that is known as volcano. It can destroy the whole land mass or even give rise another new landmass when this volcano cools down. So the earth can be divided into three layers: crust, mantle, and core. Just now I have told you what is crust. The outer surface of the earth, whether it is being land or water. Let me change the color. Land or water. Everywhere, what do we find? We find rocks, right? So this outer surface is known as Earth's crust or crust of the earth. Then what is mantle? Mantle and core are under the earth's surface. Obviously, every surface has a upper layer. Suppose this part you see is the soil. Okay. Beneath it, there are different layers of soil. Okay. And if you go deeper inside the earth, if you dig and dig and dig and dig and dig, after digging a lot of meters, you will find, you will try to feel very hot, because the inner part of the earth, they contains this hot, this fiery kind of thing, okay, which is known as magma, which is known as magma. So for now, you just come to know first that the surface of the earth is known as crust, and below it remains what? Remains mantle and core. Okay, now let's read. The earth can be divided into three layers: crust, mantle, and core. What we see as soil and mountains, I have just told you, is known as the surface of the earth, or also another name is earth's crust. Under it lies what? Lies the remaining two: mantle and core. Okay? Now, next. See how, look at this picture first. See how the volcanic eruption is happening. Just like when you burst a cracker or burst a cracker, the fiery things happen. Just like that, just see how it is coming out of the earth's innermost part. Okay? The core is made up of molten rock. What does that mean? Suppose this is the earth. Okay? Outer surface you have known is known as crust. Okay? You have already known this. Now, this is the soil. Okay? This part is the soil. This molten rock, okay, which is very high temperature, just like the sun. You know how hot sun is. Everything over there is in a plasmic form. What is plasmic form? A semi-liquid condition. Okay, everything over there is full of fire, and it is of very, very, very high temperature. So the innermost part of the earth has the same type of thing. Okay, it is having molten rocks, it is having everything molten. The innermost part of the earth. Okay, this is known as what? This is known as the core of the earth. And above it lies the mantle. Okay, this layer is known as mantle. Understood? The earth's core is made up of molten rock. This molten rock flows out from the earth's interior to the surface when a volcano erupts. This latter cools down and solidifies to form what? They form igneous rock. So, igneous rock is formed by volcanic eruption. It is the only rock which is formed by volcanic eruption. Just like this picture you have seen, see the lava is flowing here, and after suppose 100 years, this will solidify, cool down and turn into rocks just given here. See, cooling time is thousands of years. See, everywhere millions of years or seconds to months. Three types of cooling occurs. You don't need to go to that details. For now, just you know that when the floating lava cools down, what happens? It solidifies into rock, and the rock that is formed by volcanic eruption and cooling down of volcanic eruption is known as nothing but igneous rock. When inside the earth, the molten rock is known as magma, and when it flows out into the surface, it is called lava. See, I have told you there are three layers. This is the core, this is the mantle, and this is the crust. Okay? Now, let me just make a hole in between this. So what does the core contain? The core contains this liquid, hot, molten rock material. Okay? Right? So this is known as magma. Magma is when the molten rock is inside the earth's surface, and when it comes out like this and flows like this through the mountain, it is being called what? It is being called nothing but lava. Inside the earth, the molten hot rock, liquid rock is known as magma, and when it flows out through the volcanic eruption on the earth's surface, that is known as what? Lava. Okay? See, almost 95% of the earth's crust is made up of igneous rock. Examples are granite, obsidian, and pumice. So the now question is, why ma'am it is 95%? Because when we believe that when our earth was born, it was being born out of the sun. Okay, so it cooled down with gradually passing of time, millions and millions and millions of after years. the earth is cooled and different types of rocks has been cooled down. But still the core of the earth still contains what? Molten rock materials which has not been cooled till date. Okay, there are volcanoes, okay, but nowadays the volcanic eruption is very less. Even many of the islands are formed by volcanoes. Okay, Bali, Indonesia, these are the volcanic islands. Okay, where you often go for a visit or for a trip, right? So we can say that because of this process, it took millions and millions and millions of years, and still the earth's core contains what? It contains the molten material. So we can say that once when our earth was born out of the sun, the earth was like a hot ball. With time it cooled down, and most of the rocks and plains and plateaus and everything other is being formed are of igneous rocks type. Okay, that is why 95% of the earth's crust is made up of igneous rock. Understood? I hope this thing is clear to you. Just see how this is happening. So another.
That glimpse into the center of the Earth. It's like listening to the heartbeat of the planet. The physiological effects of being inside the volcano are significant in that you have every force down there trying to kill you. Alright, so let's use the drone to. I wanted to share the scene that remains stable. We were able to take a series of thousands of photographs around the top of the crater and then process those using a specialized software to render the first of its kind 3D model of the volcano from inside. We were fortunate in that we got the footage we were looking for, and unfortunate in the fact that we lost our drones. They fell to their demise. Some into the lava exceeds 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, standing right next to it.
Well, if we're looking for extreme locations, it doesn't get much better than an erupting volcano on Vanuatu. They were there to investigate how quickly microbial colonization happens on rocks. This is considered a habitable environment. We're getting a handle on how microbes colonize this particular substrate is a good example of what will happen across the planet and has happened across the planet throughout geologic time. Having the cameras everywhere, particularly during the sampling at the very edge of the lava lake, is critical because we can go back and see exactly how far we were from the edge, exactly how closely distributed these newly formed rocks were. This isn't something you can measure in the moment. 3D reconstruction of the crater itself will be very useful.
So you have seen an wonderful video. Just see how these photographers have risked their life to take such a wonderful picture of such volcanoes. So you have just seen how they flow, how much hot can you imagine they are taking the risk so that we people can understand how these things happens. Okay, I hope this volcanic eruption concept, how igneous rocks are formed, is being clear to you. Another last thing I just want to show you, that is, see, just look at this picture. I wish I could zoom it out, not happening. Okay, just see, this is how our earth looks. Okay, if we just take a 3D part of the earth, see, in the center, in the innermost part of the earth, see, it is still having so much of heat. Okay, so this is what, this is core. Here, over here, it is given inner core and outer core. Above it lies the mantle, and outermost part is the crust. Understood? This is such a nice picture given over here. So this is so beautiful. Understood how it looks like? I hope you have. Okay, now back to our slide. So granite, first example of igneous rock is granite. You often do have seen granite. Where do have we have seen, ma'am? You have seen in your mom's kitchen. The kitchen where your mom cooks food. Like this. See, look at this place. Just look at this place. This is the area where your mom cooks food. This is made up of granite. Again, in some places or in some people's house, the floors are being made of granite. This table is being made up of granite, which is what? Which is igneous rock. Now let's read something about granite. Granite is very hard, okay, and is formed by slow cooling of lava. This point is the most important. The question will come to you, which rock is formed by the slow cooling of igneous rock or cooling of volcanic eruption? The answer will be granite. It is extensively used as building material as polished granite or kitchen counters and floors. I have told you the kitchen where your mom cooks is generally, in maximum houses, it is formed of granite. Okay, so it is easy for you to remember. Now granite comes in many colors and patterns. You can see over here there are so many types of granites. And why it comes? Because of the before it freezes into or solidifies, it is of liquid nature. When it was volcano, it slowed down, so it carried different types of materials and different types of minerals along with it. That is why every shape, size and colors are different. See, there is such a beautiful pattern, but you see all the patterns are different from each other. This is because of the flowing of the lava. Understood? So what is the most important point of the granite? Which rock is formed by slow cooling of lava? It is the granite which is formed by the slow cooling of lava. Where do you see granite? We often do find in our kitchen and also sometimes in floors. Okay, and they comes in of various shapes and textures because of the molten lava solidification. Understood? I hope this thing is clear to you now. Next is obsidian. See, such a shiny beautiful rock, right? This rock is cooled down. Granite was done by slow cooling, but here the cooling process occurs very quickly. Okay, just see, it is smooth and glassy and is formed by quick cooling of lava. So again, if the question comes, which rock is formed by the quick cooling of the lava, the answer would be obsidian. Okay, and it is being used for making of jewelry. I have a jewelry. Just see, look at this stone. This is obsidian. See how beautiful. It is generally black or dark green in color or dark blackish in color, just like this you see, and it is used for making of jewelry purpose. Okay, now see. Obsidian is used in making of jewelry and ornaments. I have told you it is usually black or dark colored. This also I have told you. Why it is used for jewelry? Because of its shiny texture. See how much shiny it is. Such a black beautiful stone it is. So that is why it is used, and it is cut according to the need. Because of this layers, this can be cut into, see, this has so many surfaces. Okay, that is why it is shining, and this is the reason why obsidian is used for jewelry. From here two questions will come. Name a rock that is used for jewelry purpose. The answer will be obsidian. Which rock cools down very quick? Then the answer will be obsidian. Understood? Okay. Now next. Last is pumice. See, first look at this rock. See, it has so many tiny pores in it. So, now it has tiny pores. So what is the function of this rock? You know, every part of this earth is filled with air. There is no place vacant. So these pores are also filled with air. Filled with air. Okay. Then this is also filled with air. So what happens next? If this is filled with air, it becomes what? Lightweight. And the most important thing is it can float in water. Okay, so it is a soft rock. So first question will come that name a rock which is soft in nature. The answer will be pumice. Now let's read. It is porous, we just have seen, full of holes, right, and is formed from the lava that is frothy with lot of air in it. It means that it is lightweighted and it has so many holes which is filled with air and it makes it lightweighted. So it can float. Okay. See, it can float in water due to the trapped air. Okay. I have already told you it is lightweight filled with air. That is why it is used. It can float in water. It is used in making lightweight building materials such as concrete blocks. It is used in making lightweight building materials such as concrete rock. Another function of this rock, it is often available in the market. You might have seen in your home also as scrubber of feet. Scrubber of feet. Those who have cracks in their feet, okay, if they have cracks in their feet, they often use this scrubber to clear this outer dead cells. Okay, this scrubber is nothing but humus. Understood? Okay, so I hope you will remember this in your lifetime. Next come sedimentary rock. In your matter chapter, you have already learned sedimentation. Still, I am revising you. Suppose this is a beaker. Okay? And this is filled with sand and water. After some time, what will happen? The water will be separated and sand will settle down at the bottom of the beaker because sand particles have heavier weight than water. This is the sand or sediment, and this is the clear water, right? So this term sedimentary rock is related to this sediment. That is why I have shown you this. Okay. In my video of solid, liquid and gas, I have also shown you how this process is happening with the example of experiment. So please watch that video if you want to understand the process of sedimentation. So what happens? Let's just see. I have taken a beaker. Okay, again. Just see. I have, what am I doing? I am just pressurizing the sand to settle in a layer. Okay, I'm putting extra pressure on this sand to form a layer. Okay. So what happens in sedimentary rock? Just you see, this is one layer, this is one layer, this is one layer, this is one layer, this is one layer. So many layers or step-like structures are being seen over here. So how this process takes place? You know about weathering. What is weathering, ma'am? Weathering is a process by which sand or soil formation takes place from from rocks. Okay, weathering is a process by which sand or soil formation takes place from rocks. Okay, how? Suppose this is a rock. Okay, during daytime the rock is expanding. Okay, why? Because of extreme heat over the mountain. And during night time it is very cold. So the temperature is cooling and it is contracting. Due to this expansion and contraction, this bigger rock forms smaller rocks. Again by wind, air, water, natural disasters, these rocks form more smaller rocks. And after, suppose 100 years later, it forms soil or sand. Okay? Okay, understood what is happening? Due to various certain weathering conditions, due to expansion and contraction, a bigger rock is being broken into smaller rock. Often you have heard about landslides, right? You have heard about landslides. Due to landslide, what happens? Rocks fall from higher mountains and breaks into smaller particles. Right? Right? You have heard this, you know what is landslide. Often rocks fall from the higher part of the mountain to the lower part, and during this falling, they break down the soil. They are being washed away with water. Everything is happening due to this weathering condition. Again, air or wind carry away the tiny particles of the soil. Water, they carry many minerals, many rocks along with them. They move from one place to another. So after all these disasters, often from a larger rock, tiny smaller grains of soils are being formed. Okay, so what happens? This is the way how from bigger rocks smaller particles are formed. Now in case of sedimentary rock, what happened? Just see, I have made a layer. Okay, by pressuring the sand to settle down. Again I am adding more and more soil. Again I am giving high pressure with this help of roller. So see, the previous layer formed is a bigger. Okay, previously the layer was up over here, now it has increased. Okay, the more and more sand I will add, the layer will keep on rising. This is the process by which sedimentation takes place or sedimentary rock is formed. First, just take, this is the layer. Okay, with high pressure and temperature, this layer of soil forms what? Hard rock. Okay. When after suppose 100 years. Okay. Now again, above it, another layer of rock is being formed in the same way after again 100 years. Okay. Again, just listen to my point very carefully. If you don't understand anything, please rewind the video and do watch it again. Okay, because this is a very new thing to you and it is very important. And all the terminologies are very new. So you need to listen to this again and again and make your concept clear. Understood? Now again after thousands or hundred of years, another layer of rock is formed. In the same way, again, next, another layer is formed after 100 of years. So the now question comes, ma'am, only the layers are being formed. No, their layers are not always being formed. 24 hours into 365 days, the layers are not being formed. They are also being eroded. That is why the picture over here you are seeing is, just see, the rocks are so uneven. Although they are formed in layers, the rocks are very uneven in structure. Okay, so this is the process by which sedimentary rocks are formed by deposition of sediment under very high temperature and pressure. Okay, now let's read. Rain, wind and rivers flowing down from mountains wear away rocks on mountains. These rock particles are carried down and deposited elsewhere. Obviously, they are repeated deposition. Repeated deposition presses down the lower layer and hardens them into rocks. Such rocks are called nothing but sedimentary rock, and only 5% of our Earth's crust is made up of sedimentary rocks. Okay, only 5%. Maximum. It will be less than 5 also. Okay, understood? I think you have understood how sedimentary rock formation happens. These are always formed in layer. They cover 3/4 of the Earth's surface. Although they make up less than 5% of the total Earth's rock. I told you it will be less than 5%. See, given also. Examples of sedimentary rocks are sandstone, conglomerate, shale and limestone. So for this class, up to this much only we will cover today. In the next lecture, I will continue that what is sandstone, conglomerate, shale and limestone, because sedimentary rock and igneous rock you have learned so many new concepts today. So please do read this slide again and again and make your concept clear. Do write it down, do practice it so that you are very much comfortable with this new terminology, spellings, everything. Look at this picture and please do read and write again and again. If you have any query, you can feel free to ask me anytime. Till then, keep learning, keep shining. I will continue the next part in lecture 2. So, bye students.